Hi, my beautiful brothers and sisters. This is Mary Hernandez with Genesis Kingdom, Part 2. So it's kind of like a series 2. I did one on the elements. But I feel a lot more confident as I've gotten more wisdom and discernment in the Bible as I continue growing in a relationship with the Maker and as well as with the Bible, and really getting to know the truth and the history behind our ancestors, our family, our trials and tribulations, our sadness, but victorious, you know. You know what? The beautiful thing in all this that I see is that throughout the whole Bible, she never gave up on us. Our Maker never gave up on us. You see her still sending us sheep among wolves. And she knew we were going straight to the slaughterhouse. But we live again forever with her, you know, and that's the important thing, you know. And you should really watch Da Vinci Code. That's what I'm saying. So then I just read with you is Colossians 2:8. And pretty much this is what does the Bible say about the elements in Colossians, right? 2:8. Paul charges believers to not be taken into captives by the philosophy and the empty deceit, according to the human tradition, according to the elemental spirit of the world. You get it? Elements. What does the Bible mean by the elements in Easton's Bible Dictionary? Elements. The primary sense of denoting the principles or the constants of things. And then, hold on. Then it also brings me to, let me just get this. Now it's going to bring me to Galatians 4:1-3. Just deleting a couple things from my notes. Make it a little bit less. It was like so huge yesterday, but it kept re-adding stuff that I already had on there, so I had to do a little bit of adjustment. So thank you for being patient with me. I appreciate it. So Galatians 4:13. Let me see. I'm going to do a second video. Just when I post the videos, I know what Bible verse to put for you. So Galatians 4, and then it says to read 1-3. And when I put in the notes 1-3, if I put all chapters, means all chapters. So 1-3. It says, now I say that the heirs, as long as he is a child, is deferred nothing from a servant, though he be a lord of all. But it is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father. Even so we, that we were the children that were under bondage, under the elements of the world. And then you know the rest of it. Right now it just said 1-3, so I'm just going to read that. But if you read it all, it tells you how when the men went into with the harlot, from Arabia, and then we went into the elements of the world, and then she says we're not the children of the harlot from Arabia, but also of the free. That was the promised child. That was the mother of us all. From the very beginning, Sarah, you know, and then you start from the genealogy. Oh, beautiful, right? So, now I say that the heirs, as long as he's a child, differ nothing from a servant, though the Lord at all. but under the tutors and the governors until the time appointed of the Father. So you got to understand, people think that the witches, the warlocks, the demons, the harlot from hell, they think that they made it happen, that it was like that. No, it was written. It was written. Everything was written. From our failures to our mistakes to making choices and thinking we knew what we were doing and trying to make it our way, into falling into the doctrines and the deceits of the evilness, the wickedness in this world, period. You know, God didn't make anything unclean. She did, but there was where they had it. And I'm going to say not unclean, but she made the devil, she made the sea monster, she made all that. But as for you, the stars, her children that she started, she didn't make that unclean. Our sins was what's made us unclean. Seeking after the things of the world made us unclean. Man, bowing down to man, the beast system, made us unclean. Cursed us, put us to be hanging on the tree. You know, you read that in there as well. That's the curse. So under the elements, what are the elements of God? Grounded in science and scriptures. Though modern scientists might dismiss that the elements of air and water, fire and earth as agent persuaded science, dogma, the character of these elements seems to be very ones are used by modern science, which are the four keys: dimension, space, time, energy, mass. What does the Bible mean? And of course it brings you to the elements. Hold on, give me a minute. Sorry about that. And it's just a little recap, so let's go a little bit further down. Yeah, I read all chapter. And it highlight, but I'll have it in there. Sorry, I'm just making my notes so when I post it, I know which ones to post. Only. And then it brings me to Hebrews 5:12. So, Hebrews 5:12. And it tells you just like that. Hebrews 5:12. For the time that you ought to be teachers, that you have the need of one to teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of God, that are become such as they have need of milk and not strong meat. Now, I'm only going to use that one is to tell you so what is explaining but if you read all of it, it'll let you know a lot to discern both from good and evil. You know, all of it is beautiful. I think I'll go ahead and read it. Go ahead. I'm going to read it all. Hebrews 5, but it highlights 12. And I'll just put highlights all and I'll put option if you want to read all chapter. And then it's 1 through 14. For every high priest taken from among men is ordained for a man in things pertaining to God, that may be offered both gifts and sacrifice for sins. Who can have compassion on the ignorant, or on them that are out of the way, that he himself is also compassed with infirmity, and by reason hereof ought to ask for the people, also for himself to offer for sins. And no man taketh his honor until himself, but he that is called of God, as was Aaron. Also, Christ glorified not himself, but to be made high priest, but he that said unto him, Thou art my son, and it says, Today have I begotten thee. But as he also had another place, Thou art the priest forever after the order of Melchizedek, if I said that right, who is in the days of the flesh, and had offered us prayers, supplications, with strong crying and tears, and unto him that was able to save him from death that was heard, and it is he that fear, though he were a son, and yet learn obedience. It says, by the things which he had suffered, being made perfect and become author of eternal salvation. Unto all of them obey him. Call of God of the high priest of the order of Melchizedek, of whom we have many, and who we have many things to say, but hard to be uttered. But seeing that you are dull in hearing, for when the time you ought to be teachers, that you have the need for one to teach you again, which you be first the principle of the articles of God, that they have become, those are the articles, the hierarchies. Now it says that these are the angels that become such as they have the need of milk and not of strong meat, because you don't go after the things, the man, the flesh, the things of the world, right? But milk, you're starting almost like babies all over again, Now it says, for everyone that uses milk is unskilled, for the word is unrighteous, for he is a babe. Means like you're almost like, how can I say this? Let me explain it right. I explained it wrong. You're a baby. You're starting off, so it's like you don't know, right? So you have to start with somebody is reteaching you again and starting to let you know. I had to be taught like that. The maker guided me and really listening to pastors on TV, taking down notes, writing down, and I would have the Holy Spirit guide me and writing down Bible verses with the vision. Those are the ones that I've been praying for God knows how long. Those are the ones that should tell you, so you're still starting and you're not going and thinking that, all right, I already know, because you don't know. If you would know, you still wouldn't be sinning, So it says in Hebrews 5:14, but strong meat belongeth to them that are full of age, even so by reason they use their sense to exercise to discern before good and evil. So if you're still thinking that you know everything, you go by and you're still sinning, you're still at the same thing. You know what I'm saying? But when you got somebody that's already, hey, you know what? This is what I've learned. I'm going to teach you what I've learned. I was there. I didn't know. I had picked up the Bible for the first time. I had known. I didn't come in here hard-headed knowing that I was Miss Know-It-All. I already knew everything. I used to be like that. I promise you. I was the most stubborn person you could ever meet. Somebody would tell me the sky is blue, and I would tell you, nope, it's white. I see white. And somebody said, like, dude, you could see it. No, it isn't. I was set in my ways. It's almost being retaught again. And I had to be transformed. I had to transform the person that I used to be to become the person that I was chosen to be. Do you feel me? That's what it means, chosen. You come and instead, by the time you're babies and you think you know it all and you think, hey, well, I got it. I know this. They're saying man this, man that. But then when you have come to your full potential of everything that you were chosen to be, still not knowing everything because we still learn. I'm still learning. But then I could also tell you, hey, that's not right. Hey, this is the way you're supposed to do it. Hey, this way. Then you use that. And that correction is for your perfection. It's not, I still take corrections. I still don't think like, I already know. I don't need to learn. Shit, when I see somebody that God puts me in a different table with the queen that is already there, she's not, why do you think that queen gets in there and she sees somebody new in there? And I talk about star vibes. She doesn't go in there saying threaten like, well, She thinks she's good. Now she's on here. No, she doesn't. Hey, if you're seeing me, you walked into the power that you were chosen to be, right? Now let me tell you what I do know. Now you're going to go, and she uses her own way of wording and how she does. Everybody masters different. The mastery of the Bible and how you preach it and how you teach it is different. But at the end of the day, we back it up with the Bible and what it really says, opposed to the traditions of our father that were what? Asleep from the beginning. Do you understand? Then you go full grown. Then you're a child of the Most High God. And now you're all like, hey, wait a minute. That is wrong. I'm not going to go do that because that's wrong. You know what I'm saying? And you're not being hard-headed but you're actually being transformed. And now you're able to say, hey, wait a minute. If I sit there and I do that, I'm going to sin, and I don't want to sin against the Lord. All you're doing is hurting yourself. Right now, especially right now in this times, not just his children, not just my mother's children, but this world is also that easy. You could just go back into captivity, into the beast system, into the world system, into the elements of the world. We're not going to be part of that new world order. You might hear, oh, hey, this. No, they're waiting on the people that are going to stay behind. Don't be those that wait behind. We're not going to see that. I promise you we're not. We're not going to see it. It tells you in the Bible she's going to part the sea. Our Creator is going to part that sea, and boom, we're not going to hear it. I don't want you to be left. You know, that once that Noah arks live, that's it. You know, like really wake up. Now in Hebrews, though at the time you ought to be teachers, right? So it gives you a little bit, right? Education of elements, education and elements of. And it brings me to 2 Timothy 3:15. Let's go. Timothy 3:15. And then it says, and that from a child thou hast known the holy scriptures, which are able to make thee wise unto salvation through the faith is Christ Jesus. Right? So remember that. And I also have one that I shared, and I'm going to throw in here since it brought up science, because it is in there. Yeah, I've been reading it. It actually brings me to Bible verse 1 Timothy 6:20. So 1 Timothy. You know, I almost had to look at it twice because I was like, whoa. You know, it does say that. 1 Timothy 6. Bible verse 20. And it says it just like that. I'm not adding anything in there. Just like that. If you're able to open it up with me, you're able to. And this one I just added because I was like, man, I had that to the side because when I seen that, I was like, whoa. And then I did one of the elements and I should have put it then, but it's okay. Should have, could have. Here we go. 1 Timothy 6, Bible verse 20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust. Avoid profane and vain babblings and the opposition of science, falsely so called. You know, it's in there, brothers and sisters. It's in there. Science wants to prove everything that there are. The scientists made it. We discovered this. We discovered that. You know, but the maker didn't. Like birth. That's why do you think they're coming up with this clone babies and this robotic thing? Why do you think they do that? Because they don't want you to believe that there's a Most High God. Why do you think she did that for Sarah at 100 years old? Because she wanted you to see that the power of the Most High overpowers any principalities, principles, elements in this world. That's why she does the impossible. And they try to prove everything that she isn't. Do you get it? And that's in the Bible. It's written exactly like that. Go and read it. 1 Timothy 6:20. Because they try to prove. That's why they're coming out with this fake clone babies. That's the beast system. Do not take those clone babies and adopt them. They're evil. They're evil people. It's all what they try to do, their beast system, brothers and sisters. And now it brings me okay, well, I read to you the elements which brought me to Galatians 4:3 also while we were the children. And I read that to you. It was actually 4. And I'll add that in my little notes for you. Sorry. This is just the elements of the universe, science. It's just to say that they did everything. Everything was them. Nobody does it. There's no creator. We're gods. We play God with your life. We'll play God with this world. We'll destroy this world. We'll destroy that nation. That's what they want you to do. They want you to bow down to them, believing that they are greater than. But yet, if the people that do come out with science, with cures for this world, you don't hear of them no more. And yet they don't come out with no cures for medicine. You know, I'll tell you, the medicine is this Bible. And really get into the truth and stop bowing down to the man and the beast system and the elements of the world. Are we supposed to show respect if we meet a president? Yes. I'm not saying that. You know, it's being etiquette, right? You know, morals, respect. You know, we see somebody with authority, hey, you know, we shake your hands, we show respect. But we don't worship them. We don't bow down to them. Sometimes we don't even agree with half of the things they do in the White House. You know what I'm saying? But they're playing God with your life, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Now, it brings me to Genesis 7:4. Genesis 7:4, my brothers and sisters. Sorry, my hair's going all wild. 7:4. What does it mean that we're having victory at the end of all this? It really does. It really does say that. Let me read it, and you can interpret it the way you want to. But what the Bible really says is two different things. Genesis 7:4. Victory, brothers and sisters. For yet 7 days I will cause it to rain upon the earth. 40 days, 40 nights, and every living substance I have made, I will destroy it off the face of the earth. And what is that? The elements. That is what's going to disappear. The evilness, the wickedness in this world. Victory. That's what I said. The victory, brothers and sisters. That is coming. That is coming. That is coming. Now, it brings me to Deuteronomy 10:12. You ready? Let's go to Deuteronomy 10:12. Deuteronomy 10:12. And listen, it says, and now Israel, what doeth the Lord thy God require of thee? But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, to love him, to serve him, the Lord thy God, with all thy heart and all thy soul, to keep the commandments of the Lord and his statutes, and which I command you to this day. And I said I command you to this day. Behold, the heavens and the heavens is the Lord's, thy heaven of God, the earth and all that is in there. It is the Creator. And only the Lord had delight in the fathers to love them, that he chose their seed after them, even above on the people till this day. Isn't that amazing? So that's all the way to 15. So 12 to 15. She's a creator. At the end of the day, she's going to show her power. Man could go and say anything they want, that it's them, they're kings, they're all that. They're the elements in the world, woo, woo, woo. But at the end of the day, the victory is going to speak, and voila. You know? Amazing, huh? All right. And then the closing prayer. Hallelujah. What are the elements of the Spirit? One view of the word, right, signifies the austral gods. And it says it's just like that. A as in Albert, S as in Sam, T as in Tom, R as in Robert, A as in Albert, L as in Larry. Now again, one view is the word that signifies the austral gods, that their former religion, on perhaps the basic elements that compress a whole, such as the letters of the alphabet. So is Paul's meaning of the elementary constitutes the religion system, but more probably the elements of the Spirit, the angels of. And then it brings me to Galatians 3:19. Hallelujah. Let's go, and we'll close it up with that. And hopefully it's able to help you understand what it means, what's keeping us all in bondage, what's keeping us all. And what did she say? All you have to do is follow the 10 commandments, and voila, no sin, and hallelujah. She said, I will destroy them. I will destroy them. They're all coming down. Evil empires is done, burned up. You are the one that could do it. We're doing it too, but you also, when you're sitting there waiting, hey, where's the promises? Where's this? She's saying, hello. Do you get it? So, Galatians 3:19. Wherefore, it says, wherefore then serveth the law, added because of the transgressions, until the seed shall come to who the promise was made, and was ordained by the angels and the hand of the mediator. So do you get it? This is what is going to be the coming of what? Of Jesus. You know, the coming of the Messiah. The one, the baby, the promised seed. Get it? Like Sarah was the promised seed. And then this is when it all is going to come. All of it. Boom, boom, boom. So she's saying, be patient. Be patient. Like just, you know, that's coming. And it's coming here real soon. Just no sin. Don't be caught slipping in this world. Just trust me. Trust the Maker. Again, I will read that and close that up. Galatians 3:19. Go look it up and read that Bible every time when you're sitting there. Mother, when? Just say, can't wait. Ready? It says, wherefore then serveth the law that was added because of the transgressions, meaning that you were in the world because you were serving them, because of the sins. That's what kept you in bondage, right? Until the seed shall come, to whom the promise was made and was ordained by the angels of the hand of the mediator. Voila! You get it? Another victory. You know what I'm saying, brothers? Do you get? Everything is Bible prophecy. Patient, but in that time, you have to stay loyal. Why would you not want to stay loyal? You're not going to want to be a part of that new world order, because we're not going to be. I know me and my family aren't, and I know Israel's kids aren't, and I know she's helping me, waking you up. And she's also waking up this world in what was keeping us in bondage with sin. We were there because of sin. Understand that. The minute you leave that world, the minute you start walking right, doing whatever, if you're still working at a grocery store, or if you're working at a CEO office, no sin. Janitor, whatever it is, ministry, do it, but do it righteously. Do everything as the 10 commandments say. And read the Bible, preach the Bible, read over people, pray over people, you know? Just stay still and just no sin. That's what keeps you out of bondage. And guess what? We don't even see them people anymore. Right now, all it is are fighting for your soul and God's children for the inheritance, because they're not going to feast off of it no more. They're not no more. You see the empires falling down because they're no longer feasting off of the inheritance like they were. Because a bondage that you were there is why they were prospering, and you were waiting for the promise. But God is saying, you continue sinning, they're going to continue feasting. And there's a Bible verse that says, well, in the meantime, while they're fighting each other, let them. We'll continue feasting off of Israel's inheritance. And it was true. You understand? It's in there. All of it is in there. Hopefully that's able to help you out and give you some wisdom and discernment like it gave me. Yeah? Elements, no worshiping, nobody. Just stay in the middle of the floor in the church. If they have things to kneel, just sit there and pray. Don't make anything idol. Nothing. You know? And there is no other God. So when you pray God, the other ones are wannabe gods. They're not gods. They're not. So when you pray, there's only one God. The other ones are enemies. Unless you're serving darkness, then you're praying to that. But we're not. So amen. Well, hopefully that's able to help you out. Yahweh is her name. Yeah. Well, hopefully it's able to help you out. Continue praying for my brothers and sisters. No sin. Exodus 20. Always stay in prayer. Always stay prayed up. Always. Amen. Have a good one. Shalom, shalom.